Being compared to the Dallas Cowboys is like being compared to the most best-in-class organization sort of in the world. In addition to why we are so important, right, to the Dallas Cowboys and their ability to relate to younger audiences, sort of having sort of the cachet that we as an organization are the Cowboys of eSports, right, is just sort of a marquee sort of designation, and so we're so super proud of that.
But there is buy-in to go and start to explore. And the way I think about it is, we're not broken, from a brand standpoint, like we're in that leadership role, but we've got to be testing and learning. And that's what our team is constantly doing and working with GameSquare is to figure out what are those little pieces we can peel off and say, yeah, let's go try that. Maybe it's eSports specific. Maybe it's creating something that's owned. Like we have our own platform now that we're trying to build equity in that has the Cowboy star on it. And when things work, we're going to pour gasoline on it. And when things don't work, we're going to treat it almost like that tech experience and say, okay, great. Like that's fine. We learned something. Let's move on. Let's cut our losses and let's continue to iterate.
The Cowboys have been really flexible with how do we organically reach this audience and meet this audience where it is. I think being able to leverage the players, the Cowboys who are all gamers. I mean, all of these athletes game now, and partnering them with some of the biggest influencers in the world is incredible and gets such viewership. And all of a sudden there's kids that are in Mexico or Brazil who may not care about watching football on a Sunday who start to watch Ezekiel Elliott or Dak Prescott or care about the Cowboys. And that's been really cool.
Sports teams, NBA was probably a bit ahead of the NFL in just getting into overall gaming and carving off their own esports teams and whatnot. So there's a lot of learnings I think we can take, and I think that's the best thing for us to do is say like, what have we seen that other brands, other sports brands have done that let's be honest, like maybe we're a little jealous of. Wish we would have got to that first, but let's not be afraid to adopt some of that and double down on it. So whether we're creating our own platforms, as Justin just alluded to, whether we're using our players to do that, we know that it's a way to extend and merge these audiences. If you're following the Dallas Cowboys on social media, whether it be our Instagram, TikTok, what have you, like you're pretty much a hand raiser. Like you're a fan. Like we've got that group. It's a pretty protected. It's a sizable group, but it's a pretty protected group of hand raisers. What we want to start to do is pull those fringe audiences in. And that's how, when we can get Micah going head to head in Madden, against whomever it might be, and we're going to stream that on our YouTube channel. And you're going to get people tuning in that aren't typically tuning into the Dallas Cowboys YouTube channel. Like that's how we start to fill that bucket. And we know not every one of them is going to stick around, but some of them will. And the more that we can start doing that, and the more that we can get that to scale and do it more frequently, the better for the overall brand and the overall audience growth.